Greetings on Independence Day. I'd like to say that it is the duties of the officials to be vigilant and not allow people to throw things in green. They should put systems in place to collect these things before the people have time to do that. Evil thrives when good people do nothing.
Okay, thank you. She's commenting on your about the floods and so on. Right. St. Augustine, speaking about division, this is not something new, and given our cosmopolitan nature, it's something that will probably always be there.
Right.
Will we ever be able to deal with it, and deal with it in a manner that would satisfy the majority, because we wouldn't be able to satisfy everyone?
Right.
What do you think?
It's a very difficult situation, particularly because, yes, we have the Indo-Trinidadians and the Afro-Trinidadians, but you also have to bear in mind that we have the ethnic minorities, the Chinese, the Syrians, the local whites, we have the mixed races. So, yes, the caller raised some important points about the Indo-Trinidadians not being present there. Maybe they had them. Maybe they were watching on television and they were listening to on the radio. So we cannot just dismiss and believe that the Indo-Trinidadians, just because they were not visibly there yesterday, they were not physically there watching the fireworks or taking part in the parade, that they were not patriotic or they were not nationalistic. I want to believe that there were many out there supporting these celebrations. I also want to mention too that there were a few comments I heard on the radio and television about the few Indo-Trinidadians who received national awards. I don't believe that that should be a problem, right? Because if you look at the other ethnic minorities, they were also not represented. And I also want to draw on this very important point. Awards in Trinidad should be based on merit. It should not be based on race. As you would know, there's something called affirmative action in the United States, where certain spaces are allocated at universities and other places for minorities. In Trinidad and Tobago, if we want to solve many of our problems, it must be based on merit. It must be based on our education and our capabilities. It must be based on our qualifications. It cannot be based on ethnicity. It cannot be based on religion. We cannot say that how many Muslims got an award, how many Christians got a national award yesterday, how many Indo-Trinidadians or Chinese. You must be able to receive that award. You must be able to get a job at a public or a private company based on your merit. Once we start doing these things, we would reduce inefficiency, bureaucracy, corruption, and this would be one step towards this patriotism and nationalism you're talking about.
We have Point Fortune on the line. Point Fortune, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning again.
Hi, good morning.
We're now talking about brain drain, and we are on a topic here of, being faithful or honorable to your country. And it's the same thing I want to touch on. We have people in programs educating themselves to pick up certain jobs. And we have people coming over from other countries and taking up these jobs without no kind of certification or anything like that. Look, for instance, on that same Alutrain project, we carried down there 2 crane operators and a truck driver to the Chinese. And it's about 3 weeks now these people have been waiting to start to work. 3 weeks, and there are Chinese on this project who are working, who came in here as laborers, and they are working as riggers and crane operators. We have the skill base in the Southwestern Peninsula. I will say this, Alutrain officials and groups in the area are selling out the people in the area for self-gain. And there are people in the area that are totally fed up with it, because there's a program that's supposed to take place with the Chinese where they're supposed to pick 60 people to send to China to train. And up to date, there hasn't been one person from the area that has been selected to go on this program. And this is what I'm saying here again. Alutrain officials, the government, get your act together. You don't put programs in place to train people, and then they cannot get the opportunity to hold down the job. That is why brain drain is taking place in this country. The main reason. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Point Fortune. I believe we have Mova on the line now. Mova, good morning to you.
Good morning again. I have a Guardian of 1950 in a column here where they spoke about the flood. There was massive flooding in Port of Spain in the 1950s. Now, significantly, this is before 1956. However, the problem has escalated in 2008. That is one point. The other point is we have seen where supporters of a particular government stand up and applaud and clap, just like the same people did in Germany when Hitler said it was profitable to enslave the world. And these people who stood up and clapped have relatives who now have to look through the barrel of a gun to put food on the table for their children and their families et al. This is exactly where we reach after 46 years of independence. Anybody who wants to gainsay that are only playing politics with the nation. Thank you.
One of the things I wanted us to talk about, I know you were prepared to as well, 46 years of independence and talk now about a political union in the region.
Right.
How is that factoring into our plans?
Satish, I believe that we are treading on dangerous ground, particularly because we have so many internal problems, and we should try to deal with the problems that are facing my fellow citizens before we try to deal with this problem of Caribbean unity. Now, you see, history repeats itself. During the Dr. Eric Williams era, Jamaica was out. We are seeing here that Jamaica also wants nothing to do with its political integration program. And other countries are also disillusioned by the manner in which it is being dealt with. Some believe that it should be dealt with at the CARICOM level. But I believe that we have to give credit to the Prime Minister for initiating, restarting this program for Caribbean unity. But the manner in which it is being approached could be criticized. He needs to not just jump on a jet and fly to various countries, but he needs to have a referendum. Find out from the people of Trinidad and Tobago, find out from the people of Barbados and Grenada, do they want Caribbean unity? How would it burden the taxpayers of each Caribbean country? So we have to look at that aspect. I also want the politicians to know that we shouldn't just be approaching Caribbean unity for the English-speaking countries. Caribbean unity should be for the French-speaking countries and the Spanish-speaking countries. We should have Caribbean unity for the entire region. Once we have this entire Caribbean unity and we are able to vote as a bloc, we are able to go there in the global village and say, this is the Caribbean, we are stakeholder in the global village, and we want better trading agreements. So I believe that unity for the English-speaking Caribbean, for CARICOM, is all well and good, but we have to extend it to the other Caribbean countries. We have to bring Cuba and Haiti into this fold. So it is something very important which many politicians are not seeing as yet. We are now looking at why Jamaica is out. I don't want part of this. But do we want to jump into a unity in which it will be a strain for Trinidad and Tobago? Yes, the money is flowing in Trinidad and Tobago because of the natural gas and oil, but soon that money will end. Would we be able as a country to afford this program of national unity that we are creating, Caribbean unity? So there's always a repercussion.
Okay, we know that we've just basically scratched the surface on what is a deep issue that impacts on us and our future and the country's future and so on.
Right.
You've captured much of it in a book.
Right.
Tell me about your book.
Yes, this book, Caribbean Flavored Presbyterianism, it will be launched on Saturday, this Saturday, 6th of September, at 6 p.m. at the Cura Presbyterian Church. And one of the arguments I put forward in this book is that the topic of Caribbean unity, many people believe that the politicians have played a role. What I've argued is that many of the Christian missionaries, the Anglicans, the Canadian missionaries, the Methodists, the Baptists, there are various missions in the islands helped lay the foundations for Caribbean unity. I've also touched on other arguments about the racial polarization. Many believe that these Canadian missionaries only dealt with the East Indians and they neglected the other ethnic groups. I've sought to dispel that argument. I've also looked at the way in which these Canadian missionaries have liberated East Indian women. They have allowed these East Indian women to get education and become more involved in business rather than be confined to the domestic sphere. It's a book that extends 1868 to 2008, 140 years the Presbyterian Church in Trinidad and Tobago will be celebrating. And I am also encouraging members of the public, not just Presbyterians, to attend this because thousands of non-Presbyterians, Hindus, Muslims, also ethnic minorities, Afro-Trinidadians have attended Presbyterian schools. They have made our schools proud because of their academic achievement. They have been loyal to our schools, belonging to the various alumni groups. So it is a book that shows that the mission wasn't just concerned with conversion, it was also concerned about bringing education to the peoples and allowing social mobility to occur, removing them from the plantation.
Definitely sounds like good reading. Caribbean-Flavored Presbyterianism by Dr. Jerome Teelucksingh. Thank you so much for spending this time with us here on the CNC3 Early Morning Show. You've shed light on so many different topics, and I'm sure that anyone who's interested in more can find some more in this book, Caribbean-Flavored Presbyterian. Thank you very much. This is the CNC3 Early Morning Show. Stay with us. We've got more for you. Coming up after the break, we'll be speaking with the president of ASJA, Yaqub Ali, on the holy month of Ramadan. Stay with us.